Hi everyone, welcome to RV Afterlife. Today's video won't be very long because we honestly haven't taken a ton of video in this area, but just wanted to share a little bit of the Texas Hill Country with you. I love this area. I absolutely would live here if I could convince my sons to move to Texas. But we are just a little bit outside of Fredericksburg. There are like 40 wineries in this area, so if that's your thing.
Oh, now you know why.
No, that wasn't why, but yeah, it's just there's a lot to do. And we have already done a video on Luckenbach, Texas, but this is one of those places that I could come all the time. They have nightly music here, just local Texas country music, most of it. They still have a dance hall that is operational, and it's just beautiful grounds. So I'm not going to do a whole video on Luckenbach because I've already done that, but I'll just walk through with the camera running and let you see a little bit about what's here. It's pretty cool. The first time you visit here, you kind of get out here and think, there's nothing here, but there's a lot of history here. It was a settlement at one time, and it catered to the German immigrants that came here in the 1800s. So definitely worth a visit. The other thing I love about the Texas Hill Country is the wildflowers. We are here in April and they are spectacular. So sometime before this video goes into production, we're going to go chasing wildflowers tomorrow. One of the locals told us of a highway that we can get some good videos. So you've got to see it. It's marvelous just to see blankets of wildflowers on the road. So the Texas flower is the bluebonnet, and if you know anything about that history, it was Lady Bird Johnson that
mucked it all up.
She did not. She just arranged a head of them planted along the roads all through Texas, and they are beautiful. So come along, we'll show you a little bit of our favorite things here. Thanks. Well, I don't know why I said thanks.
Because you're polite.
There is a population sign on the back of this building that says Luckenbach, Texas, population 3. But it was a full community, complete with church and school, back in the late 1800s. This is the dance hall, and it was built in 1886 and then renovated in 1935.
Dance halls like this are still used all over all over the hill country in Texas. And they use them for just that. People come on their weekends and spend 2 days dancing. Complete with changes of clothes and boots.
We've come across people who actually pull trailers so that they have multiple changes of clothes. And then they're just two-stepping. Couple days of it, yeah. It's pretty cool. One of the must-see things that you want to do if you're visiting Fredericksburg, Texas, is to check out the Texas Rangers Heritage Center and Fort Martin. Anyway, it's free. It is a huge piece of property, and we're just going to show you around a little bit. But really great guys here that have been with the Rangers Association for many years, and they're very knowledgeable about the Texas Rangers. So maybe we'll share a little bit of what he said to us as we go through the tour.
This is the Ranger Ring of Honor. It's a memorial dedicated to Rangers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. The list starts in 1823 and goes around to the present. There are, I believe we were told, 529 names on these lists, or on these plaques.
This artifact was donated to the Texas Rangers Heritage Museum by the 4-6's Ranch, and it is an original, completely authentic chuck wagon from the 1800s. And this pavilion is rentable. They have an amphitheater where a lot of people have their weddings, and then their receptions here. He said it looks really, really cool at night when it's all lit up. The gentleman that showed us this revolver said that it weighs what?
4.9 pounds.
4.9 pounds. And they would carry 4 of them, 2 on their hips and 2 over the saddle. There are 3 of these brass sculptures on the property. This one, go ahead and read that.
This one is The Legend, the Lore, the Law by Dustin Payne.
The monument was dedicated in August of 2016. And the sun is so bright that it's hard to get good pictures of it, still pictures, so hopefully the video does better. The fort is not officially open at this moment, but the gentleman at the visitor center said we could lift the chain and go on in. Fort Martin Scott, established in 1848. And this was, he said, to protect the settlers from the Comanches. According to the signage, this Pinta Trail was the route that people took from the San Antonio area up north and then on to the western destinations. This is one thing they have in Texas that is unique. I mean, I don't know if they're anywhere else in the United States, but these giant live oak trees that the branches will just go to the ground and they reroot and start growing again, and they can be hundreds of years old. This little place called the Sutler's Store was not only a place where they could buy, settlers could buy the goods that they needed, flour, sugar, that kind of thing, but it was apparently the gathering place where you could get the latest gossip and spread some rumors if you wanted. Pretty little. This is not an original building on the property, but I thought the wagon was way cool. This is a replica of the blacksmith shop. It's an interesting beam. So this is a popular place for weddings. I guess this is fancy by Texas standards, maybe. This is where they usually have the weddings. They call it the amphitheater.
I would call it rustic.
Very rustic. Looks like something from a Boy Scout camp.
The Boy Scout camps had lots of stone.
So we have really enjoyed our time here at the Texas Rangers Heritage Center. And some of the things we've learned have been the Texas Rangers are an elite section of the investigative arm of the state police. There are only 172, and that is regulated by the state constitution. And each one is assigned to an area of Texas. And what we did to learn is you can't just become a Texas Ranger. You do your time as a state police officer so that when there are openings for a ranger after retirements or death, then they select from that group of people. So it's pretty prestigious in the state of Texas, and of course known all over the world for their grit. So the statue behind us here is of John David Skirky II, and it even has John 3:16 inscribed on his plaque. One thing we have really enjoyed during our RV journey has been a program called Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. And for a yearly fee, you are able to stay for free at a lot of different places. We've stayed at a buffalo ranch, we've stayed at a cow and horse ranch. There are lots of wineries and breweries and that sort of places. You can even pay a little extra and get golf courses included. Just outside of Fredericksburg and really all around Fredericksburg, there are a lot of Harvest Host opportunities. We are staying tonight at the Messina Hill Country Winery. And as you can look over there and see, as the sun is setting, they have some of their own grapes here, but most of their production is done up in around Bryan, Texas. But anyway, this was just a real nice experience. The staff here was amazing and very welcoming. And as you can see, we have our RV sitting out there along the edge of the parking lot. It is dry camping here, but it's very, very comfortable. We're a little close to the highway, but we're kind of used to that from the parks that we've stayed at in the past. So I'll give you a little glimpse inside the winery, and we'll see what else is in store for us. Thanks. Okay, so we'll just walk around a little bit. It's a beautiful place. Nice, quiet atmosphere. They have 4 or 5 locations where they make the wine. So wonderful staff, very friendly, and there's even an outdoor seating area. So on these nights that we don't have a lot of electricity to spare, you can see we just kind of enjoy some quiet time outside with the radio. And we even have neighbors to hang out with. You know how much I love to share sunsets, so here are a couple of good ones. This is actually a winery, but they have a tremendous selection of flowers and garden stuff for sale. You know, I'm totally thinking of Art and Paula's backyard. Absolutely the biggest flower pots I've ever seen, and they are $1,300 each. Flowers in Texas are part of the amazement that I have for this place. Just fields and fields of them, especially along the highways. This is one of the many areas that is named for Lady Bird Johnson, who was the inspiration of bringing the bluebonnets to Texas and seeding them all along the highways. And I'll drop in a few close-up pictures so you can get a better view of what some of these wildflowers are. You absolutely got to stop and look at the yellow roses in Texas. Well, that looks like something every southwestern yard needs. And the whole thing is $195. I'm not sure with the setting sun if this will come out very well, but I mentioned in the last yesterday that we were going to be staying at another Harvest Host, and it was not even a half a mile away from last night's group. we've really just enjoyed this. A lot of the Harvest Host people that are at the same campground get together at nights and have campfires or just get together and visit. This one is a distillery, small, but there are a lot of Harvest Host opportunities in the Fredericksburg area. So it says it's a tasting room, but it's really just an outdoor patio with some music and a food truck and just a lot of fun. Yes, you probably spend more money on a Harvest Host than you would if you were in a campground, but if you're going to do some of those activities anyway, it's kind of nice just to not have to drive anywhere, but just to walk back to your camper. So we're pretty far off of the highway, so hopefully the highway noise that you hear isn't going to bother us tonight, but I'll give you just a little shot around the actual tasting area in a minute. Well, the sun is setting over Fredericksburg, Texas, and once again we have totally loved our time here in the Hill Country. So we're coming back to the Harvest Host area, and as you can see, we've got some neighbors, and we've already been invited to their little campfire tonight, so we're looking forward to meeting some new friends. Hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Riding off into the sunset.